Hello guys, welcome to Samber Style. So we are currently in the process of remodeling this room into our nursery. In this video, I am going to be addressing the trim. I am actually going to remove the standard builder's grade trim and update it for something a little bit more modern. So I'm going to show you guys step by step how to remove this trim and what I am going to use to replace this to give it that modern look. And also on top of that, I am actually going to build custom accent wall. So as you guys can see here, I've taped already off where I want to have trim pieces to make an accent wall, and I'm also going to do an accent wall on this side. So I'm going to show you guys step by step how to get this done, replace the trim around your windows, doors, and also we are going to be removing the baseboards. So let's get right into it and give this room a little update. Okay guys, so the first thing we want to do when we remove this trim is to use a razor blade to cut this edge of caulk right there. That way when we pull it off, we don't pull off the paint or some of the sheetrock that will come with it, and that'll just give you a nicer and easier finish when we go and replace it. So I'm gonna make a couple of cuts and then start pulling it off. And now we're just gonna use our 5-in-1 tool, put it in there and start tapping with the hammer, and it should come off. You also want to make sure you cut it on this inside edge, because there is also a beam of caulk, and that'll just like kind of bond it and glue it together, so it was easier to separate it. And also a quick tip, 9 out of 10 times they do not caulk on the top side, so you should be fine just by doing the bottom and then just pop it off. I just want to point out to you guys, after you remove the old trim, there might be some nails sticking out. Just make sure to remove them or hit them down. That way it's nice and smooth when you install the new trim. Okay guys, now I'm ready to install the new trim, and I'm going to start here over by the closet area. So obviously the first step is going to be to measure all the way from the ground to this corner over here. We want to leave a little lip on the upper part there, so it's going to be slightly longer than the actual corner. So let's go ahead, measure, do a couple of cuts and get our trim installed. So that side's 80.5. And hopefully this side is also 80.5. Yep, we're Gucci. So 80.5 on both sides. And then I'm gonna put both of these sides in, and then I'll do the top part, because that way you measure in between and it should be easy. A quick tip, when you're working with any kinds of board, you always want to cut off the edges, because 99% of the time they are not square. So that's always the first thing I do, is just square them out, and then you start measuring and cutting. And our second one. Let's go. So I completely cut that wrong. Both of them. Okay, so as you guys can see, I cut them wrong. I measured right, but I cut it wrong. So this 80.5 should have been the inside corner and not the outside corner. So let's cut two more. Okay, let's try that again. That looks better. And that looks great. Okay, so I just used one nail on each side. That way I still got a little bit of wiggle room when I insert this to make sure it lines up perfectly on the corners. And then I'll nail it in for good once the top piece is in. Just gives you a little bit of extra workroom in case you need it. So I'm gonna measure and then get our final piece. I can at least still use one of these pieces. And now it's time for the door. So I'm not sure if you guys be able to tell, but I measured on the top there, it's 3.5 inches. And then towards that corner, it's less than 3 inches. So that corner is not straight. I presume the door is straight. But I'm gonna have to run that trim through the table saw to actually cut an angle on the whole length of the trim, which kind of sucks, but gonna get that done and then the rest should be square. Okay, so we got the length right at least this time. The only thing I need to do on this one, as you guys can see, there is a pencil line, and that is why I need to rip cut it all the way through. Let's see how it fits. I'm happy with that, and I'll just caulk it right in the corner, so we should be Gucci. I just want to show you guys also, I had to cut this corner off because we ripped that piece down. We also had to cut this piece off, and that's going to go right into the wall. So got our piece in, and now we're ready to nail it. So for the tack nails, basically these inside nails that goes onto the door frame, I use this brad nailer with 1.5 inch nails. And then for the outside, I use this nailer, 16 gauge with 2-inch nails, and that's gonna go basically in the framing of the wall. Okay guys, I am done with the new trim installed. It is a super easy thing and you can get it done within a day. It doesn't take much to remove the old trim and install new trim like this. It is a simple design, but I think personally that it definitely makes the room look a lot modern, and you can do this throughout your whole house. The next thing I am going to do is actually installing the trim on this wall. I am going to do an accent wall, so I'm going to use a base trim and put it all over where you guys see the blue tape. Obviously that's just for marking and to see what it's going to look like, but this is going to be the basic layout, and I'm going to do a similar layout on that side. So I'm going to grab some trim and then start adding some trim and build an accent wall. So I'm going to show you guys how easy that is as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is draw level lines at the bottom, because that's going to be my base, and I'm going to work my way up, starting from the bottom, going up. So first thing is draw some level lines all the way through where your trim is going to be, and that way we can know where we need to go forward. Another thing for making sure everything is level and square is when you cut your 45-degree angles on that trim, if it's not level, those corners is not going to be completely flush. Okay guys, here you can see where I draw out all the pencil lines. You would not see the pencil lines because that is exactly where the trim is going to be, so you do not have to worry about that bleeding through the paint. So now I'm going to go ahead, cut out all the trim that I marked with the pencil on the wall. So it's going to be a couple of cuts, so let me get this done and then we can nail this in.
A few moments later.
Okay guys, so now that we got the trim pieces all cut up, it's time to put them together. It is easier to pre-assemble them before you put them on the wall. So that is exactly what I'm going to do right here. You want to use a flat surface, that way you can get these corners as close to perfect as possible. So we squeeze them together and then we just nail it with the pin nailer on each corner. there is our block complete, and now we're ready to put it on the wall. So we just line it up with our pencil markings we had on the wall, and then we just nail it in. And nail it on an angle, that way the nail holds on a little bit tighter into the sheetrock. Gotta be careful. I got all the trim work up, as you guys can see, and this accent walls turns out absolutely fabulous. We did initially think about doing a double frame. So basically where you see a single frame at the moment would have been a double frame, but this is only a 12 by 8 room. So the room is on the smaller side, or at least it's not on a very big scale. So we just thought if we do a double frame that it might just look a little bit too busy for the size of the room. So we are gonna stick with just a single room. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed that when I did my pencil drawings on the wall, that is actually the most helpful thing I think that I've done. So if you are planning to do this, definitely draw out your framing on the wall itself. But however, with the drawing, I actually did draw a double frame, but we decided that we're not going to do with it. So the next step is going to be to caulk all the seams and fill up all the nail holes, and then we should be ready to paint. So let's finish this up. So I'm just using regular old caulk that I got from Home Depot or Lowe's, and I'm just going to caulk the seams on the inside as well as on the outside, and then use a wood filler for the little holes. That way we don't see any holes after we paint it. So let's get it finished. Okay guys, I got all the seams all caulked up, and now it's time to close up the little pinholes. I'm gonna use this wood filler. It is a white wood filler, so it will go in with this, and then I am gonna put a primer on it before I put color on it. So I'm just gonna use my finger, dab this on there, and just fill up all these little nail holes. And I'm gonna do it on this trim and also on the trim around the windows and the doors. So I'm gonna quickly knock this out. Okay guys, we are getting close to being done with all this trim work. I just got to take this sanding block, go over all the holes that I filled up with the wood filler, and I'll be done with that. I got one more thing after that, and that is going to be addressing these seams. I am going to go for a seamless look, so I'm going to do my best to fill it up, and once it's painted you wouldn't know that there is a seam. So I'm just quickly going to sand all these nail holes, and then we're one step closer to being done. Okay guys, for the last step I'm going to be hitting those seams on the trim, and I'm going to use this all-purpose putty. You can use it on anything. When you use it, do make sure the area is ventilated. This stuff is pretty pungent. I'm going to add some hardener, and then I've got a kind of like a short working time, so I'm going to try to be as fast as possible with one batch. Otherwise I might have to remix another batch in order to get it done, because this stuff do set up pretty quickly, and we can sand it pretty much in a couple of minutes afterwards. So I'm gonna get my knife, put some of this compound on my, I just got this off-cut piece of wood, and I'm just gonna mix it on right here. So I got my little mixing thing right here. Add some hardener, and let's rock and roll. Okay guys, I got the trim all finished up. I finished the door trim, I finished these accent wall trims, the window trim, everything is done. I did not do the baseboards. The reason for that is I am going to spray paint the walls, and when I go down, it'll be just a lot easier to do the baseboards afterwards. That way I don't have to tape it off or make sure I don't get paint on it. And also, speaking about paint, you might have noticed there is a couple of samples on the wall, and that is exactly what we're gonna do in the next video. We're gonna be doing the ceiling, the trim, the walls, everything that's paint related, we're gonna be addressing on the next video. If you guys find this video helpful, how to install trim, and anything you would like to know, please let us know in the comments down below. Share with your friends and family. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye. Hello guys, welcome to Samber Style. Hello guys, welcome to Samber Style. And it is very echoey in here, so I just get a little bit annoyed with the sound quality of this video.